Good evening or good afternoon or good morning, depending on where in the internets you are watching this. Good time of day to you. And welcome to this new episode of BINGKIS, which is a new Goethe-Institut Indonesian initiative that focuses on the perspectives of art practitioners concerning the changes and challenges that they face during the COVID-19 pandemic. This BINGKIS is broadcast live every 2 weeks on Thursday nights via the Goethe-Institut social media channels. My name is Mark Teh. I am a performance maker and a researcher and curator based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where I work a lot with the collective Five Arts Center. And this evening, I have the great pleasure of moderating a conversation with Jakarta-based artists Irwan Ahmett and Tita Salina about their projects and their processes of working. We will talk about their latest performance, Apocalyptic Smile, which was staged at a secret location in Jakarta on 25th July 2020, just as the city was emerging out of lockdown. The video documentation of Apocalyptic Smile has already been uploaded on the Goethe-Institut Indonesia YouTube since the beginning of the week. So please watch it there in case you haven't already. I should just mention also that Apocalyptic Smile was realized with the generous contribution of Roh Projects. If we have time, we'll also talk to Irwan and Tita about their future projects and ongoing threads of research that they are undertaking. So the way this is going to work, guys, is the BINGKIS session will last about 90 minutes. So please feel free to drop us some questions for Tita and Irwan through whichever social media platform you might be watching from. And the Goethe-Institut Indonesia team will pass them on to us. That's Tita and Irwan. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Apa kabar?
Kabar baik, Mark.
Baik.
Yeah, so
introduction.
No. Just tell us before we even start, like, what are you guys wearing, man? You guys look great. What are you guys wearing?
So it is like the color of amber.
Yeah.
So the tear of the sun. So amber is kind of a good material to preserve or to fossilize species for maybe more 10 or even 100 years. So perhaps we will keep that spirit from this beautiful color of amber through a reflection of human feelings of emotion.
Wow, puitis, very nice. Great. So these are kind of timeless costumes. They cross different times. Irwan and Tita, super happy to be able to talk to you guys. But let me properly introduce you guys first and some of the context behind your work before we go into talking about your practice and also specifically about Apocalyptic Smile. So I'm going to read from a little catalog of exhibition that you guys did in the Singapore Nanyang Technological University Center of Contemporary Art last year, where you guys did a exhibition of your Ring of Fireworks. Yeah. So it says here that Irwan Ahmett and Tita Salina are an artist duo based in Jakarta, and they've been working together since 2010. Their ephemeral interventions articulate sharp social commentaries on urgent issues concerning urban development, ecological catastrophes, political repression, colonial legacies, and the exploitation of human and ecological resources. All very serious sounding stuff.
Very dark.
Very dark, very serious. But it's probably good to just let people know that the two of you have a background in graphic design and you run a studio. But really, like in your artistic practice, you guys are researchers, you are very restless travelers, and also you are life partners, and your work really encompasses a very wide range of activities, from participatory and performative interventions to archival documentation works to lecture performances, and Apocalyptic Smile is kind of a lecture performance and also video work. Just to emphasize the point that I think like the work that you guys do, and also the fact that because you're married to each other, beyond an artistic practice, I think you guys, there's also a possibility of thinking about what you guys do as a kind of form of living, a way of inhabiting the world, as living as form. So I just want to read some of my own notes about like the stuff that you guys have done to give a picture to people what you have been doing in the last, say, 6 years in this project called the Ring of Fire, which you will talk more about. So in the last 6 years, Irwan and Tita have cleaned the room in an abandoned nursing home in the radioactively contaminated town of Okuma in Fukushima Prefecture in Japan, and restoring this room to the original condition, 1,103 sunsets after the nuclear disaster of March 2011. Irwan and Tita have collected prayers and tears from family members of Indonesian migrant workers who were convicted for murder in Taiwan. They have collaborated with fishermen in Muara Angke in Jakarta to create a floating island from marine and plastic debris accumulated in the vicinity of the Great Seawall and land reclamation mega projects in North Jakarta. They've also dissected flowers, fruit, vegetables gathered from mass grave sites in a post-mortem examination of the histories, memories, and propaganda of the 1965-66 violence, which heralded the New Order regime. They've proposed 8 different ways to cross the Straits of Malacca to enter or penetrate Singapore without passing official immigration channels, inspired by historical acts of seafaring, smuggling, and sumpah, or taking an oath. They've also planted an upside-down underwater tree with local farmers in the Jakarta Bay to grow and harvest green mussels, which are a rich source of protein, especially for the working class, in Jakarta. And very recently, last year, they traveled over 3,600 kilometers from Jakarta to Bangkok by land, boat, and by foot via Banten, Lampung, Palembang, Melaka, Kuala Lumpur, and Patani from Jakarta to Bangkok. And on the way, they collected artifacts, experiences, and stories of violence that are embedded across this Southeast Asian region. And on the way, they dropped by Kuala Lumpur and gave me some coins that they collected in Palembang as part of some ancient coins that are like 600 years old. So that's just to give a very general context to Irwan and Tita's practice, which is important because they do so much and they do such diverse things. Irwan, Tita, let's hear from you guys. Could you talk a little bit about this Ring of Fire thing that you guys have been doing? It's a 10-year project. Where are you guys in it? What is it?
I go? Okay. Yeah, so this Ring of Fire, we started this project since 2014. And the main goal to have this until 2024. Hopefully we're still alive at that time. And then, the reason why we do this project because of the place where we're living right now in Asia, and geographically, based on the statistic data that 80% of the Earth surface were created by the tectonic movement, and that makes actually the land on Earth is unstable, and especially and also most of the active volcanoes, they are on the Pacific Rim and the South Pacific where we are now, and also in Indonesia itself, we have like more than 100 active volcanoes, and they can go mad like at any time. And also because of that, the other positive thing that the land is so fertile, and also in the marine we have like millions kind of species of fish, right? And then
I think from my side, it's just a very like ambitious project to try imagine our response to the massive scale of Earth, like from Aotearoa to Chile. It's like an imagined scale of our length. Maybe I couldn't finish in 10 years. But since even we start to keep doing something like annually or even monthly, we little bit to set up a small puzzle, and the more we try to solve it, I think it's the more questions come out. So mainly our exploration it's about find the answer. I mean, it's a very deep in our feelings as a people who live in the most vulnerable region on Earth. But I strongly believe there is something beautiful we can feel in this very vulnerable area. So let's say it's about the mix of culture of the species, the variety of species, or climates, or even how the people try to help each other because they need to do it because they need to survive. So this kind of natural gesture, it's really inspire me and makes us confident to do. Even maybe only 2 of us do this for maybe only 4 years left. Yeah. But that's the strange thing because right now we facing a different situation because of COVID-19, and we often just observe from our islands when we live, which is Java. So, and we like really open our eyes about to see the possibility that we could observe during our stay in Java right now. Many things that before we neglected, but now we are super interesting and try to find out more about that information or something.
Yeah, and also, I think I can add a little bit that like geopolitically, I mean, there's also like a lot of issues happening. Like, I mean, like the Pacific region is kind of like always in the heat. Like, like we said, like during the Cold War, especially, and until now. I mean, whether is it really exists? Like, I mean, the connections between the catastrophe happens, like the tsunamis, like volcano eruptions, floods, and the geopoliticals, like the wars, like like migrations, for example, and also I think it's one of the things that interests us the most, like whether it has connections between the geography and the political situations. I mean, between the earth and the humans.
I mean, it's a really huge expanse of space and time actually that you guys are covering, and that you have covered already in 6 years into this so-called 10-year project. I know the 10-year thing is like a artificial timeline. You can do it for the rest of your life, actually, of course. But as Iwang said, you know, you guys have gone from Aotearoa in New Zealand to of course, you know, Indonesia and up to Taiwan and Japan and Russia. North America, belum lagi, not yet. Right? Not yet. Okay, so residency people, you know, please pay attention. and then down towards South America, and you guys have been to Chile. Is that right?
No, that's not also.
It's postponed.
It's postponed.
Okay. So there were some plans, but it was postponed. So maybe when things get a bit better, you can continue the project in a different way. But I just wanted to ask, because it is such a big expanse of time, a big expanse of research, and I think the imaginative space that you are inhabiting is also very large. I wonder Tita, you already mentioned about this. It's an area of, known for natural movements, natural disaster, so to speak. But also it's a place that it's an area that shares a lot of geopolitical violence, In your work, the both of you, I just wonder, in the Ring of Fire, what have been some connections between the different places that you have observed? Perhaps more on the Asia side right now, because we haven't really gone over to the American side yet, that you have noticed, some connections or vibrations or resonances between these different places.
Well, we will facing like a new kind of situation right now, even very present with the COVID outbreak.
Yeah.
But for sure, the impact of things happen in this region, it could be past the limit of state border. I mean, the possibility, for example, for volcano eruption or the impact of earthquake or even the tsunami, it could be devastated for all the society who lives in that region. So in the beginning, we really have the curiosity about why the nature it's so violent. I mean, and is it also related with our mythology? Because if I come to let's say Java or Wayang mythology, it's like a violence. It's part of the storytelling. So it's hard to ignore. And at the same time, we learn the history, or even today in the news or like in the Instagram, on the social media, the presence of violence is still vibrant. So now we already accept this violence. It's maybe not only part of Ring of Fire, but also part of the problems as a human.
Yeah, if I can just pull back to my previous lives when I was younger, much younger, I thought, I was like very naive at that time. I mean, I thought that the world is all right. I thought that the world was just fine. Just peace. War is somewhere there, maybe in the different planets, not on the Earth.
Yeah.
It's very naive, but when I was mature and then I see more things and I see more realities, it's how do you say, like it makes me question so much, and I think that's stay until now, and I think that's also triggers me as a personal to do this a journey, and to see things with my own eyes, because most of the time I just read from the news, I just hear from the radios, hear from friends stories, but I need more. I need more proof, more, let's say,
experience.
Experience, and also the experience itself is really taught me a lot of things, like the senses that we have, like the air, the gesture, the physical encounters is very different from what I've been thinking before. So it's really enrich me.
Actually, I mean, that kind of leads me to something else that I wanted to ask you guys, which is, this collecting of experiences, which is so much a part of your work. Like I often, when I think about your work, I often think of you guys as like seismographers, social seismographers, people who go to places and detect some vibrations or resonance between different, but I also think of you guys as scavengers, because you guys go to all these places and you collect artifacts, you collect stones, you collect bones, you collect the hair of elephants, you collect so many things. I'm sure your house is like a really crazy museum. And I wonder, because often these objects that you guys collect and the experiences that you collect are used in your projects. So can I just ask, as people who collect a lot of things and scavenge a lot of things, what are you collecting? How do you decide, like this is worth keeping, or this is worth picking up and putting in my pocket and taking it back to Jakarta, you know?
Well, first is budget wise. But I mean, I have a very personal decision to decide an object or artifact. Yeah. Basically, I feel we as a human, we cannot ignore our aging, right? So every day and every years, we getting less and less. For example, the skin, it's getting more going down because of the gravitation, and my hair start to change the colors. So I have to find a replacement not to against the aging. It's impossible so far, but to find another object replace that thing loose from my body, it makes sense. For example, maybe I forget when I went to Okinawa, for example, small detail, I will forget for sure in the next few days. But if I took a small artifact, even a very, let's say, small rubbish, and it stimulates my brains to remember many things in the future. So in this case, an object, it's about extended of our body, but also extended of our mind.
And also especially like the objects that we collected, it has stories. I mean, it has stories before we have them. And then I think what is interesting is like the story stays in that objects, and then we have them, and then we kept them, and then we can, and then in the future we can
See, my
too many objects.
This one object. It's crazy.
One of the collection.
One of collection.
Living collection.
Oh wow. What's the cat's name?
Kumir.
Ah, perfect.
Kucing miring.
Italy cat.
So yeah, and also within these objects with I mean, an object that full with stories, like somehow maybe in the future we can meneruskan, like
continue
the stories to others, to someone else.
Yeah, for example, we collect this small object, which is we bought from online shop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oops.
Too bright.
Oh, what is it up there?
Yeah, it's nice color.
Yeah.
It is very small piece of ant. It's from Lithuania.
Okay.
So, and this ant is already exists for almost maybe 40 million years ago.
So it's an ant, Iwang.
Yeah, it's an ant.
And the ant is preserved in amber?
Yeah, in amber. So I just got a few months ago, but to see what the face expression and what kind of species, and there is a small pocket of air, which means the last breath of this species before preserved. But also in my mind, it makes me really scared, because we as a human really enjoy to see the other species death.
Right.
So maybe we are the only species who have this kind of celebration by buying or collecting or memorize other species suffering. So this kind of two relation between me and object, it's makes more different context of the object itself.
No, carry on, Iwang. Yeah, you were saying. No, I mean it sounds very much like you guys think very much through these artifacts and objects that you collect, because they seem very much to locate an experience or a time, like a memento, right? As Iwang was saying, something that is marked, but also I think the objects in and of themselves, independent of you, they also have a latent potential. They have a potential to, as Tita says, to kind of tell stories or to release something, and not always rational things. Once we look at them more. Do you guys have more objects you want to show off to us?
Yeah, this is two interesting objects.
Yeah,
we got it from Central Java. Tita,
yeah.
The light.
Okay, so we've had some ants from Lithuania via the internet, and this is?
This is a Homo erectus hand axe.
Okay.
So, it's a very strong rocks type of stone.
Yeah.
So it's really carefully created to make a very sharp edge, maybe to cut food or maybe to kill the big animals.
Wow. Okay.
So, but of course, we are not archaeological person, but I think to imagine the possibility of our ancestor cognitive capacity, and it lead us to our project. For example, what is the origin of smile? Our Homo erectus smile. So as we know, the youngest Homo erectus or the latest Homo erectus was extinct in Java. It's about 100,000 years ago. But what kind of expression when they face the extinction?
Yeah,
it could be sad. Maybe only one species walking in the valley of Solo River, and it's or just a normal. They just kind of more harness to their own body and to nature. It's time for this species to leave the earth. So, but we very different mindset. We want to keep health and to be present in this world. And this makes very problematic for the balance of ecological condition on this planet. Yeah.
Can I just ask before we go into talking about this work that's come out of kind of the Homo erectus exploration, where did you get this hand axe from, Iwang?
Yeah, we explored some areas in Sangiran and also
that's in the Central Java.
In the Central Java,
near
right?
Solo. Yeah.
And that's where the big archaeological sites are, right? Is that where Java Man was?
Yes.
And for to compare the age of Java Man with us, we already old. I mean, mostly they only reach the age of 30, so they are millennials. Because the nature is so wild, right? They get easily prey, eaten, or maybe have the bad injuries. But we try to even live longer and longer, and find a vaccine and produce more population. So
Well, I mean, let's go into Apocalyptic Smile, which hopefully for those of some people who might just be joining us in this conversation, is available on the Goethe-Institut Indonesia YouTube channels. The whole performance, I think about an hour 36 minutes, is there, and you can watch what Irwan and Tita did about 2.5 weeks ago over there. So Apocalyptic Smile, right? Which this story you're telling us in relation to Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. What motivated the research in this particular work? Because it seems like with the Ring of Fire, your work was really looking at a very wide geographical area. But I believe with Apocalyptic Smile, the research started even before the COVID-19 situation and lockdown, and you guys were beginning to go into deep time, into long time kind of research. What what motivated this direction of research, guys?
Yeah, if we are pulling fairly long back time to the geological movement on Earth, so it's talking about volcanic and then class of the plate. It makes me think about how this island was created. So in case of Java or Nusantara, it's considering new. So we couldn't find dinosaurs fossil in Nusantara because 100 million years ago, Java is not exist. So it's about 50,000. 50, I forget. But so the Java is something new. If I explore, for example, the valley of Sangiran, we could still find the layers of rock who was deep ocean about 10 million years ago. So, and this observation makes me try to find another possibility to find another archive to see the ecological layers of surface of the Earth. And then suddenly we discover many things like shell fossils and different type of geologicals. And even the waves is in the river, it changed many times in a different direction. So maybe 1,000 years going to this direction and then super massive earthquake and move to other direction. So what is a very dancing movement of surface. And then we come out to the layers when the first civilization arise in Java with the existence of Homo erectus. It's about maybe 1.25 million years ago. So, and why they extinct and how we can learn about our curiosity about our existence. So why we interesting to ask to extinct species? Because human is problematic, right? So we develop the brain capacity to speak. And the same times we have the very master to make liars. So human is a very good liar. If you see a politician, they're very good with this. So to have a conversation with the living human, it's very difficult right now. They need a lot of things to build their own characters. So, but to have this more honest conversation with an ant or the Homo erectus legacy, I feel it's more transparent. So violence, it's violence. So there's no need to build a policy to make a violence legal. They don't need to make a new laws to exploitation the land. Just do it. So perhaps by going to more origin of evolution process, we could find more unexpected answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the context of smile itself. We come up with this how we interest the gesture of smile actually since 2011 when we started to have this another long journey almost 10 years ago before the Ring of Fire projects and it stays. I mean it's been there. For many years until now, and then this smile gesture, and also we have assumptions whether the smile gesture is kind of like a typical of archipelago people, like not only in Indonesia but also in Southeast Asia regions, and how the smile itself has so many interpretations.
Yeah,
it's not just like to express that you're happy or that you like someone, but it also could represent that you are sad at that time, and also you're hiding something, and also if you're confused, if you feel hopeless, like now, I dare to to ask people, like during this pandemic, a lot of people have more smiles than before the pandemic happened. No, okay, but and even if we are desperate, if we are angry, or even we have like if we're hiding something and we have a cruelty agenda, or even if we have in the apocalyptic conditions, the smile is always there. Your smile is always present. So it's more like investigations, and that's come up with this the origins of smile, how the smile was created, and is it are we the only species that could produce smiles? Are there other species that can smile also, like the apes, our ancestors? Do they smile? Like,
does your cat smile?
Unfortunately, no. They
we use another species as a mirror, so we reflect the responsive of feelings. So the feelings of some plant, or feelings of cats, and even dog, or like playing with human, like 16 months. So baby. So how this natural expression, it's more easy to understand in a very simple condition, like less intelligent species. I mean, compared to human. But in human, that's super difficult to understand,
to interpret.
And even in some culture, there's a very specific meaning of smile. Maybe like some politician, they in North Europe, they don't want to see their face smile because it looks weak. But in Southeast Asia, even the dictators, or like the bloody cold murders, they smile. Or like the corruptors who makes a very devastated for the poor people because they took over the money. And when they capture the face on the media, it's smiling. And even the jihadists, when they the martyr,
the suicide kind of martyrs.
When we observe some postmortem of their face, of course they already become a dead body. So some of the image created by the power of explosion. But some people have this interpretation to see the deep expression of smiling face on that postmortem. So it's very confusing in the beginning to capture smile, especially right now. People pay so much money to make a plastic surgery to make their smile looks better, for example.
Permanent smile. And also, does it also have relations? I mean, like Irwan asked a question before, like, did the Homo erectus smile? I mean, of course, Homo erectus have a smaller brain volume than us, and then the sapiens, the early Homo sapiens, increased their volume brains, and then is it that 400 millimeters brain volume? Was there smile DNA added to that brain? You know what I mean? Like, I think working for these projects, we're really interesting into archaeological studies.
Sure.
And also anthropological.
It's super fascinating, because I think one of the things also is the special thing about Homo erectus, it's in the name, is that the fact that it was able to stand on 2 feet. It came down from the trees, went from on all fours to just twos, hence bipedalism. But we always forget that Homo erectus and Homo sapiens are the only animals in the world that can stand completely upright on 2 feet. And anatomically and biologically, it's almost impossible for all other animals. And so this thing that you mentioned about never underestimate the possibility of standing, but with Homo sapiens, never underestimate the possibility of smiling and DNA. is, this kind of new DNA is really interesting. I just want to bring it more closely to the performance, which some people would have watched and some people might not have watched who are listening in on this conversation. The smile that you guys have been talking about, the research into Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. I mean, this is in Apocalyptic Smile, the performance that you guys did 2.5 weeks ago. And in it, you guys, as you've just done, present to the audience or to the witnesses how this new technology of a smile has transformed across cultures and across different times. And in fact, I just want to throw this in there. I think like recently, an activist in Singapore was arrested for standing outside a public space or a public or park and holding a sign with just a smile logo icon. So yeah, holding a sign of a smile in one country in Singapore can get you potentially arrested. So it has many meanings, as you have said. But just for those of us who may not have seen Apocalyptic Smile, of course, people can watch the YouTube video. Tita, Iwang, I'm just wondering if you guys can just give us a sense of what happened in the performance. This was a performance that happened 2.5 weeks ago. Jakarta was just coming out of lockdown. It was in a secret location. What happened?
Yeah, we just very let's say dinosaurs. We try many things with online platform, but it's not really represent our feelings at all. So we challenge ourselves to make a physical performance, which is a very risky, especially now. It's still very uncontrolled condition about the outbreaks. But for ours, creative approach is a very time-specific condition to make it happen, because the tension, the contact, we never face this similar condition in the same page around the world, which is related with our week of biological present, right? Yeah. So, and by to take some risk, but also we learn how to prevent very well, and that's why we limit audience and no announcements and very strict rules of COVID protocol. And luckily, no one get infected
after
14 days. Yeah. So we can smile right now.
We can smile. Hannah smile. No hidden.
No hidden smile. Yeah.
No hidden smiles.
And I mean, some people might have seen the photos, but the audience were in hazmat suits. You guys were performing in hazmat suits.
This suit.
In those suits, yes, exactly. Yeah. Correct. And I mean the people can watch the video, but I think also in the beginning of the performance, this question of time and history and the future comes up because you guys plant something into the ground of the secret location that you are performing in. And I think this thing that people should watch really speaks to what the world is going through right now. So maybe it's I thought of time capsules, for the future. I mean, interestingly, in Malaysia in the year 2020, a time capsule is supposed to be opened sometime this year, because in 1991, our then Prime Minister, who was our Prime Minister until earlier this year, Mahathir Mohamad, he launched something called Wawasan 2020 or Vision 2020, where we were supposed to become like the first world, fully industrialized, flying cars, tall buildings kind of country, like, America or Australia or Germany or Japan or whatever it was. And he planted a time capsule to be opened this year. But as you guys know, in Malaysia, we have many exciting political developments in the last few months. So I think people have forgotten about this time capsule, but through your performance, I was able to be reminded of it. But it's interesting because, you know, like in a way, you're right. It's a very shared moment right now because of COVID-19. So like in Malaysia, we are like the United States and Japan and Australia and Germany kind of right now. So, you know, Malaysia boleh.
Malaysia boleh.
Going back to the performance though, I wanted to ask you guys because I guess what's important for discussion is that we might be dealing with the coronavirus COVID-19 now, but it seems like you also use this opportunity, this situation of being locked down for many weeks and months in Jakarta, to reflect back to your own childhoods in 1983, where there was another kind of corona event, where there was a full total eclipse. And in fact, I think the eclipse happened on Tita's 10th birthday on 11 June 1983.
Yeah.
Tita was 10 and Iwang was 8. Can you tell us a little bit about the connections that are being made between these two coronas?
Yeah, I think the meaning of corona is like crown, like crown, like yeah. I think the similar words between the coronas from the sun eclipse and corona from the virus. Yeah, somehow it has its own their own, how do you say, characteristics. And yeah, I think the difference between two coronas, like the first corona, the sun, the eclipse, it's kind of like we kind of like celebrated, and the corona, the present corona is kind of like we try to get rid of it. That's the simple way. Like
I think not celebrate. I'm not agree at that time. It's a very
I mean, not celebrate, but it's kind of like different, very very different things.
Yeah.
If we set back in 1983, I think for our generation, of course, many people maybe who was born before that period, it's a bit like different meaning, but for us. It's like a very serious thing when we only have one channel of television and very strong information on radios and newspaper telling about the dangers to see direct to the eclipse. They said it could be blind. So this condition, it's really makes people in Nusantara, especially in Java, it's very scared. So, and it leads me to the question about fear, because the first moment when I got instruction from the government to stay at home, it's like a déjà vu, right? So the feeling of fear or something. So perhaps fear, it's the consequence of from the long evolution process of our mind. So it's related with the spiritual, related with uncertain future and about our existence, our life existence. So fear, it could lead a very different impact to the body. For example, in 1983, many people, about maybe in Jogja itself, it's about 200 people, they going directly to the hospital after the eclipse. They want to check the impact of eclipse to the eyes, but no one get blind, of course. This is the fear. It could stimulate different metabolism to our body or our mind. For example, during this lockdown, our smell is even changed, and also our expression. A lot of tears come out because we are afraid we're losing our lovely friends or families. But also like what we should do. We don't have any clue, especially with eclipse. It's super easy. We're just going inside and we get full easily. But
there's only one day.
One day and a few hours, even few minutes maybe. But for this COVID feeling it's a very different because we cannot see, but surprisingly, at the time, people more obey to the propaganda by the government. So our family days, my family, we moved to our one of family members and stay there for even a day. But now, maybe even this outbreak still happen, people still go outside. So the relation between fear and things that we don't know, it's interesting for us to compare with the possibility or the speculation of the meaning of smile, because we never know as well when the people smiling at the time, especially in this region, in Southeast Asia region, it's so many meaning of smile. So, but to understand about 1983 with today's situation, of course, we're super interesting with the astronomy or like how the corona happened, very beautiful at the skies. But we realized this is the process of change our biological eyes to the television. So because we push to see the eclipse directly from the television only.
Right.
And I think this is a very strong impact to our generation. So until today, we cannot move from that glass box, right? So for sure it will change today with COVID-19. It's the same. We have to face the new life, facing the screen, and the screen cut of our appearance, mutilation of our body, but we have to deal with this new culture. Yeah. So maybe to understand about even the meaning of the violence who following the narration of eclipse in the 1983 with the appearance of a mysterious shooting. So especially in my area, it was
this is known as the Petrus shootings, right?
Petrus,
in the performance.
Yeah. So for me, it's a bit like deja vu again when some countries, especially maybe who cannot face the condition of the outbreaks, when the healthcare capacity, they don't have enough facility to support their own citizen. So they let these citizens die. It's very related to my memory about the mysterious killing in 1983, when the power, they really want to eliminate the marginalized group, and they think by shooting and direct killing and kidnapping, it's okay to make some people safe. So, but at the time, they're doing it in a very mysterious way. Of course, right now we do it in a very legal ways, right? With the rules, regulation, but the hidden agenda behind that ketidakmampuan,
uncapability.
Yeah, uncapability system to facing this pandemic. Yeah. So which means this corona, it's a very different, but also makes us think in very similar ways. In terms of economic, of course, it's a very different, right? Because at the time in 1983, our economic, it's very based on Japan. If we see the covering of eclipse in Borobudur, it's well supported by Japan television.
NHK was there.
NHK, they provide a very good infrared camera, or even they collect some species to observe what will happen during the sudden darkness to this species behavior, like orangutan, apes.
They put it in the cages, right?
Yeah. Or plant, or even cricket. or bad. So it's a very kind of utopia to put all these animal on a cage and try to see all the behavior. Meanwhile, all the people in Java also live in the house, they are hiding. I feel like in the prison for a moment.
Yeah. No, it's that's really great, because I think, you know, the juxtaposing that you guys have done with these two coronas, I guess, the corona of 2020 and the corona of 1983, really makes us also think about cycles of time, you know, and how some things, of course, change, but many things also remain the same or just transform themselves into a different form. I mean, I just wanted to also remind people who might be listening in or watching that, you know, the 1980s in Southeast Asia was really like this time of like double-digit GDP growth. You know, places like Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia were seen as like Asian tigers or Asian cubs. You know, great industrialization and economic progresses. They all had kind of like strong authoritative leaders like Suharto in Indonesia, Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, Marcos in Philippines, Mahathir in Malaysia, and in many cases, many of those legacies, although most of those men, except Mahathir, are not around anymore. Many of those legacies are still around, and we're still dealing with them. And not just that, as I think you have mentioned, you know, like the spread of television during that decade was really important to deliver information, and in many cases also propaganda. And also, you know, that period is kind of bracketed by the rise of kind of a more aggressive Islamic identity, you know, coming out of the late 70s Islamic revolution, and a stronger sense of like, you know, Islamic identity. I mean, in Malaysia in 83, I just tried to do some background research, and I found that this was the year that the International Islamic University Malaysia, or University Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia, was started, 1983. It was also the same year that Bank Islam Malaysia was started. So Islamic capitalism, you know, like began in 83 in Malaysia. And also 83 was the year that Proton was established. Proton is the national car agency. I mean, the first car only came out 2 years later, but 83 they came. So all these contending forces, economic, political, social, are all happening in the background as we were growing up, you know, and now we are beginning to kind of look back at it. Tita and Iwang, can I ask you, because, you know, like, I think when you guys started with Apocalyptic Smile, which started way before COVID-19, your research and your work for that, like you said, you've been tracking the idea of the smile since 2011. Then COVID-19 happened, you know, and clearly it affected how you research. So much of your work is about mobility and being able to travel to different sites and talk to people. And you were just isolated into your own home, mainly. How did this change? Because I think this is also because why you began to look at the 83 corona, right? Because maybe the apocalyptic research was going somewhere else. Sorry, the Apocalyptic Smile research was, you know, going somewhere else. But because of this, could you tell us a little bit how you adapted, or how this situation affected the way you guys work in the last few months?
Yeah, more online shopping.
Yeah, we buy more things than before the lockdowns. Certainly. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, this Apocalyptic Smile, we come up with this idea from our research residency last year in Bumi Pemuda Rahayu in Imogiri near Yogyakarta. Yeah, actually at that time, yeah, the same months, August and September, we stayed for 4 weeks there, and then we come up with this concept, Apocalyptic Smile, and then actually this year we plan to go back to the same place and to continue the research, the field work, but yeah, it's impossible now, and yeah, we plan to actually in the beginning we plan to continue this like next time. I mean, maybe next year or I don't know when. But yeah, I think when this kind of like an opportunity. I mean, the first few months when the pandemic arrived here, we quite struggle to adapt, to adjust, and then yeah, it's very difficult to have inspirations from the conditions. It's quite stressful. If I cannot say like depressions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but then I think yeah we can tell here about the how it's become now, like how the Goethe approach us, and then right.
I think maybe it's like really we lost a lot. I mean, we normally we have a plan for a year or maybe even 2 years before. It's quite precise because it's to saving the budget, right? So we don't lot produce funding for our project, for instance. But to have this plan, it's helped us to navigate to the right direction.
Yeah.
So when all things are canceled or postponed, we broke. I mean, we don't have money, and maybe we have a lot of plan. We cannot make it because we cannot move.
Yeah.
But in the middle of this early middle age crisis, we met with this, many amazing species in our backyard.
Yeah.
So my first encounter is with the ant. So, and before I always try to rid of ants or even kill. I feel bad right now. But to know deeper about this species, it's lead us think about our existential risk today. So, of course, we can talk more about this magnificent species, but we move to the very extreme condition when one ant, they're blind, so mostly they couldn't see very well. So, bite my finger and hard. It's so hard until maybe the neck is almost broken. So, and the purpose, this ant almost killed herself, mostly female, ants mostly female. So why? Are they to protect their colonies or to protect herself? But ant, it's not like individual animal. They live very strongly, depend on their colony. So I assume even a little creature like ants, they represent the mentality of altruism. So in the same time, I watch the television. There is Indonesia. It's one of the, let's say, a lot of healthcare people who pass away because of COVID. Right? So the number is quite high. I think one of the highest in the world.
Right.
So they take the risk to protect some population or to save some people, but at the end they have to face their fate. I mean the destiny. They have to pass away because of infected by the virus. So to compare this, we observe about the how we can understand the meaning of altruism. So I think smile, it's represent the gesture of altruism. At least you do something and we don't expect something from our opponent, right? So, but smile, it's very blurred. We still find a good argument related smile with altruism. But if I compare to the healthcare people and this ant and even the martyr, they have a similar spirit. They want to be melukai. Yeah, they want to feel a great pain to achieve the goal, right? So and this makes us think about what is the relation between altruism and pain? Are people who commit suicide, or are people who become a martyr, they feel pain? Or is this little ant, they feel pain when they try to broke her neck by herself? So, and when we feel pain, our gesture is almost similar to smile, because it's like this, right? So, yeah, in this kind of condition, it's quite extreme condition. Maybe it's possible when someday we're facing a huge apocalypse, maybe the meteorite destroy the earth, or maybe climate change is getting worse and worse. Maybe face of people, it will more smiling than crying.
Yeah,
I think because they're forced to face the unhappy reality by manipulate their emotion.
Yeah. So the smile becomes a kind of currency that can exchange through different faces and hands and different media. I have a question actually related to smile from one of the people who are listening in. But just to also mention to people who are listening in, if you haven't seen Apocalyptic Smile, you should check it out on the Goethe-Institut Indonesia YouTube. This thing that Iwang has just talked about, studying ants in their backyard, understanding the behaviors, but also the social structure of ants in terms of society, but also in terms of their so-called individual behaviors. This is very much a part of the performance, and Iwang and Tita kind of compare it with how Homo sapiens might organize their society as well. So the comment about smile, Tita and Iwang, is from someone called Agniadi. It says, I wonder, seems like Indonesians through the ages have been conditioned to make smiling as their go-to facade, or their go-to mask. Are there any instances where this smile cracks when the situations get worse?
You mean what? Cracks?
Yeah, like this. Are there any instances when this facade of the smile, this mask of smiling, cracks when situations worsen?
I think when we become animal. So because human, it's like covering by the social norms. It's a very strong. The social norm, it's like, I have this terminology, the ants change to the massive rocks. So, so because this social norm, it's chain.
Like
chain.
Chain.
Yeah.
So,
terikat.
So the social norm, it's very super powerful mask for individual, for society, even for our existence today.
Yeah.
It's like invisible clothes, but once we become an animal, I mean, it's some reason we can easily become an animal. For example, the influence of drugs, or while we have lose our mind because of having great sex, or even when we in the trance, surupan. We just become a biologic instrument. We're not human. We lose our consciousness in that condition.
Forget about the norms.
And forget about the norms. and it was really good. I tried many times. It's really good. This creates the possibility we are become more transparent species. So our expression, it is what it is. We don't really care about the image and anything. Yeah, but sadly, the trends, it's not only happen for good reason. Like many happen to, for example, the female students, or like laborers in the factories, because of very repressive condition, working condition. Right?
Like this is known as the raso, right?
Or like amok, right? You lose your mind, amok. You become amok.
I think also the face masks with the smile in front of the face mask. Also, I don't know. It's my personal assumptions. Like maybe humans, they really afraid of losing their emotions because they covering their mouth, and they afraid that people when the people see them covering their mouth, and then they don't know what they're feeling, what their emotions, and they fear that people will have like a negative imaginations about this guy.
Can I just extend that into the question of the performance itself, Apocalyptic Smile? I mean, the actual experience of performing with an audience, Tita, your point. Your audience was in the hazmat suit and in the mask, in the space with you guys. That must have been a very unique experience. What was it like to perform quite soon after the lockdown in Jakarta? Social distancing, physical distancing, all that was in effect, but also you couldn't see people's reactions or smiles if they smiled.
I think it's one of the, how do you say, like most challenging experience for us during our performance for the last few years. But also I really appreciate like how this audience, and that's why we call them witness, because it's kind of like a test, it's kind of experiment actually, how we held a life of of performance
in the red zone, right?
In the red zone, and of course with a lot of limitations, and of course the preparations, it needs much more bigger effort than usual. I already really feel appreciate because of that, and also how the audience came on time and really following all the instructions. And then actually the experiment itself, it creates kind of like a intensity. I think the intensity already start when they receive the physical invitations, for example, because in the invitation, it's not just invitation like telling about the dates and the place, but it's also have a consent form.
Okay. So this is not in the video. This is good information. This is not in the video. Yeah.
So it has a consent form, and also it has regulations like do's and don'ts. It has four pages of invitation. Those invitation only one piece of paper, and the other is like serious things. And the last part is the rapid test. So we send them the rapid test. So but it's not mandatory to have them tested, but it's theirs, so they can do whatever they want with the rapid test. I think from that moment the intensity is already built, and then they sign the consent form, that means that they agree with all the consequences. and then they arrive, and then they're following the regulations, and then they have the temperature check. And also they have to wear the bodysuits and then stay for more than 2 hours, I think. It's very hot, and it's sweating, it's very uncomfortable. And I think this audience that's become the witness, they act like they performs actually. They performs not in the usual way. because when they decided to go, so they have to prepare for many things, like even when the performance finish and they return home, so the intensity is still there because perhaps there might be a bring some things back home, like
they have to wait for 2 weeks.
They have to wait for 2 weeks, and then of course why it's secret, and then we didn't announce the place. Of course, because we have to follow the safety rules and also the regulations, whether it is possible or not to hold a performance and to invite people. It's not really clear. I mean, they only said that like in the cinema, for example, they can only take 50% capacity from their normal capacity, and they didn't mention about the gallery, didn't mention about the museums. So we mostly it's just like experiments, and of course the expressions, we didn't get the expression that we expected, because we couldn't see smile, we couldn't see laughing, even we forbid them to claps.
You subverted yourself, no? by telling people they can't do anything.
It's very challenging, but I was not sad. I mean, I was not happy, but it's really interesting moment.
It's a very good experience. At least maybe if this condition it's not really solved in the next years, for example, we still have to deal with this procedure, right?
Yeah. No, I like this word that you guys use to describe the audience. I mean, this notion of the witness, right? Because it's not just a spectator or normal audience. Witness suggests something a little bit more confrontational, let's say, and present. But it also suggests that when you guys are performing, like what are we witnessing? And it seems to me from talking with you guys tonight, but also from knowing your past work, that you guys really, in a way, perform as social actors, not just in your performances, but in many of the projects that you do. You mobilize small groups or small communities. And I've been following the lecture performances that you guys have been doing for the last few years, and I just wanted to ask you guys, especially in the lecture performances, it seems that, and Apocalyptic Smile is the latest lecture performance. It seems that in these works, a lot of your own autobiography becomes a part of the work. Like it was Tita's birthday on June 11th, 1983. And you seem to fiction your own memories or experiences with those that are, let's say, a bit more official, or those that are more powerful, for lack of a better word. And I remember last year when we spoke about in Kuala Lumpur, when you guys were here, Iwang said something about the power to narrate is really important. Could you say something about that? This more biographical part of yourselves that appear in the lecture performances work.
Yeah, I think for us it is, how to say, like it is important for the audience to feel related. I mean, I mean, because the autobiography that you mentioned, that really is like it has relations with our personal lives, but also actually it relates to the bigger events that like in the special certain events like the eclipse in 1983. For sure, it's not just two of us experience this kind of things, and also because and also because we grow up with this propaganda, we grow up with these dictatorships, and I think it's interesting. It's also important to relate to these different like occasions, so people have related, so we don't talk bullshits, for example.
Yeah, it's keyword. We don't talk bullshit. Like, it is what it is, and
and
we
it
don't
is
say
what it is.
Maybe a mistake. We made a lot of mistake, of course.
And also I think the relation itself, I think it's important. I mean, people have related and people have common memories, like the same memories for special events or special moments or dates.
And in many cases you are kind of time traveling back to re-encounter those memories and question those memories, and in some cases confront them and change them in the present, like how we see them in the present.
For example, like the archive of violence, like our previous projects that we performed at Goethe last year in December. It's so we updated many things, like we added like local context, and at that time I told the audience about my family backgrounds, like my mother, like because of two of her brothers, they were the member of PRRI, like the rebel groups in the 50s, where these rebel groups, they want to get independence. And then my other uncle, he was a military. So and then two of my uncles, they, of course, when the actions happens, they hiding in the jungles. And then my other uncle, my military uncle, he was sent from Jakarta to West Sumatra to fight against them. And what's surprising me is that my mom kept that story for the whole of her life. I think she just told me recently. I mean, I don't know, like 2 years or 3 years ago. Maybe I don't know what's the reason why she decided to tell me about this. Maybe she thought that now the situation is safe to tell.
Or
for example,
she saw that you are middle-aged and
I think the contextual of performance, it's not really new. I mean, I'm a huge fan of wayang golek performance.
And
it's like 4 hours performance and lullaby and I sleep, but mostly the wayang, it's wayang golek good dalangs or performance, they always bring the story related with the today condition. So which is very relevant and also reflect the sickness or the oldness or even the anxiety one society. And it's just like similar. So maybe we just like another kind of wayang storyteller.
No, that's really beautiful. Actually, when I look at the documentation of the performance, I'm not just this performance, but definitely in Apocalyptic Smile, I definitely think of the wayang because of the different screens that are being used, and the different shadows that are being used. Again, if you watch the performance on YouTube, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So please have a look. We're coming towards the end of our time, like the kind of last 5 minutes. So I just wanted to share a few things and ask a few things, which are also coming in from the different social media feeds. There is a comment here from Linka Suri, and she says that this is more a comment, and an observation. That the minerals in the Ring of Fire can become tears for those who accidentally live there and have disputes on the land. But the minerals could also be a smile for those who exploit it. So she's making that observation, I think, after listening to you guys.
Oh, it's very poetic.
Beautiful.
Poetic, huh? Beautiful. Yeah. And related to that very poetic and beautiful observation by Linkasari, there's another question from Gita here. And perhaps this is someone who seems to know your work or know your past work or knows
Gita
you guys.
From Jogja, I think.
Gita,
okay. I just have Gita.
Okay.
Oh, Gita.
But Gita's question is, are you still moved or attracted with beauty or pretty, nice, good, and sweet things? I think it's a great question.
Well, I still really like to see something beautiful, like beautiful woman or even beautiful landscape and beautiful art. But that's something beautiful and looking good. It's already manufactured by the factory, and they sell very well, better than us. So perhaps by bring something more realistic, even looks ugly, it's just the real things. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the beauty, sweet, it's which kind of standard of sweet and beauty, because because through all this catastrophic, we also see beauties.
Yeah. So we found out that the comment comes from Gita Hastarika. And,
Gita Hastarika. Yeah.
Hello, Gita.
Hello, Gita. And there's an additional question. And she's saying, like, she's clarifying, I think, the question. Do beautiful or sweet things or nice things still inspire you guys? Because your works, I guess now, often speak about violence and apocalypse and catastrophe. So I think that's where the question is also coming from.
Yeah. So maybe
good question.
It's very difficult to answer, but maybe just reflect. I mean, the scenario of utopia, it's already sold out. They provide by the government, politician, or the production of massive products, right? So meanwhile, the dystopian, it's no one to take. It's opposite, right? Maybe only a few people, crazy people, or unpopular decision. And if we see compared to what happened in Southeast Asia, for example, related how the country handled COVID, it's almost like trophy, right? For example, this country better than others country. This country is higher. This country is even have a better policy. Blah, blah. So it's how
Malaysia is the best.
Yeah, or we are
Indonesia
and Vietnam is the best, and Philippines. So this even this condition, how come this society make a competition, right? So maybe to understand about dystopia, it's much more interesting because there is space for imagination, interpretation, or as our expression, which is a very primordial thing. That's why we avoid to make a physical object. We use like memories and then neuron in audience brains and sounds. It's not like really build things that really they want to have it, for example.
I think.
So maybe the dystopia scenario, it's in our path right now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think as long as it's natural, as long it's not manufactured, as long as it's not for the artificial or superficials, it's still inspired. I mean, yeah, like it could be cliche. I mean, I still like seeing beautiful views like in the mountains or in like rivers, like sea. I love sea, and it's beautiful, of course, and it's natural, and of course it's inspired.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I hope Gita's happy.
I hope it's answering Gita.
Yeah. We should wrap up, but I do want to finish with asking just one question. I know it's maybe a very stupid question to ask at this point with everything that's happening with COVID and all that. But Apocalyptic Smile. I think it sounds like you guys will work on it some more and continue the work. But I'm just wondering if there are any future projects. I understand you guys might be doing something at the Bangkok Art Biennale later this year. What's coming up?
Yeah, we try to represent the archive of violence. So we make a long journey. So we name that track. It's the trekking the flames. So which is from Central Java to Bangkok. But it's too huge. I mean, there is some interesting side we don't have time to explore. For example, if we're talking about violence, we cannot ignore how violence the military in Aceh or the colonial impact in north part of Sumatra, for example.
Right.
So perhaps we could complete our observation about violence. I know time is limited, but to make more better comprehensive storytelling about the archive of violence in this region.
Right.
That's our hopes.
I think, the archive of violence will be the second time that we present in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Because the first time was at BIPAM.
Yeah.
BIPAM, sorry.
BIPAM. The Bangkok International
Performing art meetings, yes.
Yeah.
And I think this October we will present at the same place but different event.
Oh, okay.
At the Bangkok BACC.
Okay.
At the 31st October. Okay. Of course, with all the limitations. I mean, because of the pandemics, I think the observations will be less than we expected.
Yeah.
But of course, some updates. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So people can look forward to that. There is one more question, and I think it's a very good question because it's related to archive. The question is from Ana Maria. Ana Maria asks, how do you physically organize all your research materials? How your house must be. Yeah. How do you guys organize your research materials?
It's not really well kept. I mean, I think it become museums in the future.
I think we think seriously to make a museum but not like museum, conservative museum, right? So it's like storytelling and our evidence, or maybe some speculation of history. So perhaps we could realize it next year. Let's see.
But now I think the current situation is probably like kids keeping their toys.
I know that situation well. Okay.
Yeah, right. You know that well. So it's kind of like that. So put it in the box or in the baskets, and we lost somewhere, and we try to search. So.
And then when people come to visit, you take it out and make it nice and show it off.
Yeah,
when
like
people
kids.
Go, you like.
Yeah, like kids, like hey, I'm this.
Yeah.
I have this.
Super. That's really cool, and that's a really great place to end tonight.
But Mark, I would like to mention a bit about how this Apocalyptic Smile was realized.
Please do.
I mean,
do
I mean, in the beginning, it's just like preliminary ideas, and then now is we could call it like a piece, like really progress development compared to last year. And that's actually why it's become why we can realize this because of COVID. Actually, thanks to COVID. and of course in the different way, like how we develop this in the different way, that's also because of COVID. And actually in the beginning Goethe with the BINGKIS talk, with this new platform approach to us, Maya approach to us, and then offer us to do something at BINGKIS talk, like an online performance or online discussion, something like that. And then after some considerations, okay, we did talk, we did online presentations, we did online discussions. Okay, it's not so interesting. but then we challenge Goethe to make a real performance instead of just talk, because talk is like this, right? Like similar like this. and then Goethe have also some considerations, of course, because it's live performance and then it's physical, so people will come. And then it's not possible to have it in Goethe, because the Goethe-Institut in Jakarta, because it was closed until now. It is closed. It's closed for publics. And then later on we talk to Roh projects, right, with Jun Tirtaji, and then we actually we spoke to them, like to find possibilities to collaborate, but until a few months ago we're still not sure what kind of collaborations we can do together. And then yeah, we come up with this Apocalyptic Smile, like, oh, okay, maybe we can develop these ideas. And then we ask Goethe and we ask Roh projects, and then how we can make this happen. And then yeah, later on, yeah, they're crazy enough to agree to support us.
Yeah, and thanks to have to other institutions who provide materials. Yeah, for example, during our residency in Japan in Art Maebashi, and also during our have a residency in Imogiri, Jogja.
Like some fun for arts and ecology, they also support us to have this.
And this lovely team from Roh Project, Goethe, and you, Mark Teh.
And you,
pleasure,
also
always,
crazy
always.
enough to work with us to realize.
And
this.
our amazing team from Bandung, Sunday Screen teams, they're really helpful to support us to make it happen.
I think at this moment we would like to thank again, like all this magical team, and also Bu Melanie.
Since the beginning,
yeah, she kind of like a matchmaker.
Okay.
to introduce us to different people.
Yeah.
Jun Tirtaji, Stella, Dea, what else? Barry, Bigan, Toro, Toyo.
Many things. many
Maya, Rangi, and perhaps Ingo, if you're watching from Berlin.
I don't know if Gita is still watching, but that sounds quite beautiful and sweet in terms of, during this very, very difficult time when everyone is working in a very stretched, limited, depressed, difficult way. People are able to come together and contribute in this way that you've suggested, Tita. No, I think that's really special. But it's also all credit to the two of you because of the kind of work that you guys do, but also the imagination to kind of do it now and to link the corona that we face now and the corona of your childhood and to help us look beyond just this current moment and this current crisis that we're in, but that there are other times and other crises and other notions of information and how information can distort and information can reveal that I think this work does and tells us. So, please, to those who are watching, if you haven't seen Apocalyptic Smile, do watch it. It will be up. It is up on the Goethe-Institut Indonesian YouTube.
The link is here? No,
the link is there somewhere. Yeah, it's there. And
I forgot one person, Devi Linggar. So he contributes his time to make a beautiful documentations.
Yeah. Yeah. Super. Great.
Thank you. Thank you all the witnesses as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah, to audience. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please.
No, thanks. Anyone else? Iwang, you want to thank the ants, the
baby, and plants, cats. Yeah, but maybe I want to make maybe a final statement if we have time.
Please. Yep, we do. Yep.
Yeah, I think recently I'm thinking about why we are doing this. So we grow up in a new order, and how artists react in that new order period, it's almost like the massive waves. I mean, they have so powerful power to point to the power of new order, right? So with the very good artwork and then super critical, but also a lot of metaphor works. And for sure, they could make that very strongly because they have a common enemy. So after the dictatorship collapse, artists create like a well, right? So they try to support their own community, which is only who control or own that land. But in our position, we don't know where what kind of interpretation our existence. Maybe we like a river. Maybe we polluted or ran out of water, but maybe we keep flowing. Someday we took a risk, but someday we took another small victories. So, but by making our work, it's like replace our existence with our idea. So, but at the end, if people don't really pay attention about our work, maybe we still have another audience, which is Tita and me. So
that's the real secret behind why you work together.
Yeah. But I hope this could lead us to a different stage of our expression. So COVID, it's difficult. It's a very different condition, but I strongly believe it's a challenge us to do something more. And let's see, people already open the opportunity for to do something together. Already happened with this piece. Yeah.
Super. That's great. That's the perfect ending. Thank you so much, Irwan Ahmett. Thank you so much, Tita Salina.
Thank you, Mark Teh.
No problem. Pleasure. And thank you to the Goethe-Institut Indonesia gang for having us. This has been BINGKIS. Watch Apocalyptic Smile on the YouTube channel. It will be up. It will remain up. Thanks again, everyone, for listening in and sending us comments and questions. Good night. Selamat malam.
Good night. Selamat malam.